All right, so I'm gonna talk about Nebraska. Nebraska is a state. It's just below North and South Dakota. Well, technically, it's just below South Dakota, but I kind of link them together. So it's in the middle of the country. It's pretty much the heart of the country. It's got an interesting shape. It's not quite like a rectangle. Like North and South Dakota are pretty much just rectangles. And then Nebraska's got kind of like it's like a rectangle with like it's missing its top left and bottom right corners. Its nickname is the Cornhusker State, and their team, University of Nebraska's team, is the Cornhuskers. Nebraska's like the University of Nebraska is a solid sports sports program, but I never hear about Nebraska State, so maybe they don't have much of a team or anything like that, or maybe it's not even a thing. I'm not even sure if it exists. It's in Nebraska State. But the biggest city is Omaha, and this is where Warren Buffett lives. If you know who Warren Buffett is, one of the wealthiest people on earth, a billionaire. And he owns Berkshire Hathaway, which owns Geico and like Dairy Queen and Coca-Cola. Or they don't own all of those, but they own like large shares, and Apple. They also have a large share in Apple. I don't know if that's still true. But I remember when it was big news they were investing big into Apple, and I thought, oh, that's probably smart. And then I didn't invest in Apple, and now Apple's gone up a bunch, and I haven't made any money off of that. Anyway, the state flower is the goldenrod, which I don't know what that is, but it's something about it. Population is just shy of 2 million at 1,900,000, and it's a good population, I guess. That's a lot more people than actually I thought. I don't know how many people live in like a state like Iowa, which would be a comparable deal. Also, I don't know how many electoral. I kind of base my like as far as populations go, I get my understanding of population by electoral college votes. So my guess would be they have like five. Let me look it up. How many electoral college votes does Nebraska have? Let's check it out. Okay, here's a map. Oh, they have five. Oh, I got it right. Probably just my memory. And they go red, but if it's they have like a split district thing sometimes, or maybe all the times, where they split it up by different parts, and some of those go blue. I think maybe Omaha goes blue or something, which would make sense. Um, they have the world's largest indoor rainforest in Omaha, so there you go. That's another fact about Nebraska. Now, as far as Nebraska's football program, they used to be good, and now they're like ass, which is kind of sad for Nebraska fans across the country, but mainly in Nebraska. And I'll say this: Nebraska has cool uniforms. I'm talking football. I like their uniforms. They have a cool design, or it just seems simplistic. It feels like they're supposed to be good at football, and then when they're not, it's always like, what? They had Scott Frost for a while, who was came from Oregon. He was the offensive coordinator at Oregon. Everyone thought this is a solid hire, and I think he played quarterback in Nebraska, so it's kind of a good story. But then he just sucked ass for years. He might be an alcoholic too. I might have read that. I don't know. Nebraska has the U.S.'s largest aquifer, which is an underground lake slash water supply. It's called the Ogallala aquifer. So there you go. That's a fact. So water is important. Water is a good thing to have. If you want water from the underground area, then apparently Nebraska is really the place to go for that. Um, got him. So their state gem is the blue agate. The largest porch swing in the world is in Hebron, Nebraska, and it can fit 25 adults. So we're just throwing all the facts at you. Nebraska. So when I think of Nebraska, if I were to not have like a list of facts, the only two things that I really think about them for, well, maybe not the only two things. I've landed in Nebraska before when I was traveling, and it was humid. So I think of that one experience I had there. I was going to Iowa to visit family, and just the airport, and then it was just humid there. So I think of it. It was the summertime, of course. So that's how I think of it. And I really think of it as just similar to Iowa, which I have a lot of experience with. And then Iowa's got a lot of cornfields. I've been to like 3 or so Iowa football games, and 2 of them were against Nebraska. So I've seen the Nebraska football team in person. Okay, more facts. The state insect is the honeybee. The official song of Nebraska is "Beautiful Nebraska." Uh, that makes sense. You'd want your state song to be positive about your state. Let me just get a couple last ones out. It was once called the Great American Dessert, like dessert like food. Uh, uh, in 1927, Edwin E. Perkins of Hastings, Nebraska, invented the powdered soft drink Kool-Aid. So I guess Kool-Aid comes from there. It is the largest producer and user of center pivot irrigation. The 911 system of emergency communications, now used nationwide, was developed first in Lincoln, Nebraska, and Lincoln is the capital. But that's interesting so there's a lot of things going on in Nebraska that are interesting. That thing about the 911 thing was a surprise to me. Lincoln County is the origin of the world's largest woolly mammoth elephant fossil. Okay, that'll close us out. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share.